Hi everyone, Linda Reed-Enever. Well, as you can sort of guess this morning, my phone has been a little bit buzzing. There's been some questions and there's been some talk in the media about the Facebook news restrictions and the news law. And most of you might have woken up to a little notification on your phone or on your desktop this morning that Facebook is changing the way that it presents news content in Australia. Now, where we are sit right now is it's still an unknown. This is a temporary block. We do know that Facebook are still in discussions, or at least that's what we're hearing from the government, that Facebook are still in discussions with the government about this content out here right now. But it is affecting other business owners who technically may not be classed as news. Now, what I've done is I've just done a little bit of research, and from the Facebook Australia update, there is the news law option in here. And the update as it's saying right now, and I'm going to pop it into the chat so that you guys can see it. So the update going from Facebook, I'm also going to chat to you about what we can do about content over the next little while as well. So our update from Facebook was about the Facebook news laws. So changing the way you share news is changing, but the services you come from Facebook and connecting your family and friends and communities and businesses are still here. While you can no longer share or see news on the Facebook and Facebook in Australia, it's unfortunately in response to Australia's news bargaining legislation code. Facebook will have to restrict publishers and people in Australia from sharing or viewing Australian and international news content on Facebook. There's no clear definition about what they're saying that is, and there's been some pages that I most probably wouldn't take as news publishers that have been hit by this. I've seen some articles that have shown Harvey Norman. We've seen some other ones going in there. It's not the outcome Facebook wanted to take, is what they've said, and this discussion is focused on the US technology companies and how they benefit for content. So Facebook is still in consultation, I believe, as we were told this morning, about what this means for us as business owners. But if your page has been affected, I'm going to say for now, don't panic yet. Whether it means that this is a long change or where it's going, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like you, I woke up to this morning and I'm not 100% sure what it means. But I'm going to give you the update link and you can definitely have a look at it. I'm not reading between the tea leaves or anything like that. But if you do want to have a little bit of a read about what Facebook and the government have been talking about, you can have a look at the Facebook post here. Update on discussions. Okay, so what is not great for us in this process is panicking, because if we panic now, all we're going to do is we're going to put ourselves in a position where we cause stress. We have to watch and we have to wait and see how this is going to affect us and our businesses. Now, for most of my businesses who've got e-commerce shops and all of those sorts of things, so far we've still been able to share content. So I'm not sure if it's going to affect blog owners, or I'm not sure if it's going to affect those areas, or it just is coming down to what they class as news media sites. And that could be just what this is coming through. But as I said, I have seen some posts like things coming from Harvey Norman and a few things like that are maybe just leading us to saying that maybe some of the misclarifications coming through. So what does this mean for us right now? It means we can't share an article from our local paper. It means we can't share any news comment, and it means that those news publications out there are not able to share content with it in the newsfeed on Facebook at the moment, while those discussions continue to happen. So what lesson do we learn from this? This is a big lesson for all of us about making sure that we are not reliant on all of our content being in one space at one component in time. Now, as much as I'd love to say that we should be, making sure that we're not reliant, we normally are. We all have a bias to one particular form of social media. So the thing that we can take away and the thing that we can act on right now in our marketing strategies, in our business strategies from all of this, is to look at how are we leading our people to a space that we own, to our websites, to our email lists, to our databases. How are we leading our people to there? And rather than going into a panic of the world of Facebook, look at what you can actually do today and wait out and see what the discussions and negotiations and what the next couple of hours and couple of days bring inside this situation. I'm not wanting to make a prediction. I'm not great at making predictions on what Facebook are going to do, but I'm hoping that between the government and between Facebook, we will get something, and something along the lines that is a meet halfway between looking after our journalists, looking after the publication networks, and looking after the business owners and those people who use Facebook to share their education pieces, their blogs, and all of that particular content out there. So if you've been affected, I feel sorry for you. You know, in all honesty, I can only imagine the panic that this caused. But please look at proactive measures you can take. Talk to industry bodies if you need to talk to industry bodies about working with the government, about negotiations on how this affects your industry, letting those people know, and then proactively look at what you can do in the meantime to lead people through. So as far as I'm aware, shops haven't been affected. So if you have a shop on your business, being able to post images, but posting links to news sites, that sort of stuff has been affected. I'm not sure what the news publications themselves can do when they're classified as news. So maybe it might be a good time to up your video content game in Facebook, or upping your tips and sharing valuable content, because when it comes to it, Facebook want people to stay on the platform, and that's very much what they're looking for. So if you can create some good content that's going to keep them on the people on the platform, that is great. And then look at how does that content work into your nurture sequences and moving people and educating people along your market line into opting in and going into a space that you own, like your website or your newsletter list or your membership platforms and all of the things from there. Guys, I know it's a change. We're dealing with heaps of change at the moment. This is just another one, and let's just wait and see exactly what the change means for us before we panic too much. Okay, I will see you around. I hope that helps you. I hope you've got some resources. And in the meantime, just breathe. We can and we will work in other channels. If we need to, if this is the end for different areas, there will be different ways to be able to find, search and do all of those sorts of things. And bearing in mind that Google has already reached agreements with a couple of news outlets. So there is some positives here that the negotiation can be had. So let's see how it goes for a little while. Breathe, calm, watch it, walk away from Facebook for a couple of days if you need to, and then look at what your strategy is next week after we've given this a couple of days to settle, and we can see what the government and Facebook do in their further conversations.